At night in a building, two robbers, Miles and Eddie, were carrying out a plan. They entered the building through the air vents. A man named Deacon was helping them by watching the building using CCTV cameras. Another man, Tully, was in a car outside, checking the roads. After crawling through the vents, Miles and Eddie reached the main part of the building. They went straight to the safe where they believed a valuable object was kept. However, opening the safe was very hard because it was the strongest safe in the world. Miles didn't give up. While Eddie went back to the roof to wait, Miles used a drill to make a hole in the safe. After much effort, he finally opened it and found a large diamond worth $17 million. He was very happy. At the same time, Eddie, who was on the roof, was surprised when Deacon pointed a gun at him. Deacon said he didn't want to share the diamond with the group. Then Deacon shot Eddie, and he fell off the roof onto a police car. This caused chaos outside. Tully, scared of getting caught, drove away quickly. Meanwhile, Miles, who now had the diamond, was told by Deacon to return to the roof because the police were coming. Miles ran back to the roof, but when he arrived, Deacon pointed a gun at him too and demanded the diamond. Miles didn't want to give it up because he had worked harder to steal it. They fought over the diamond, but Deacon took it. A police helicopter arrived and Deacon escaped using a rope. Miles, hanging from the rope, was thrown into a nearby building under construction. Luckily, Miles survived by hiding in the air vents. Before he was caught by the police, he cleverly hid the diamond in the vent lining. Even though the police arrested him, Miles made sure to remember exactly where he had hidden the diamond. 2 years later, Miles was released from prison after serving time for the robbery. After being locked up for so long, he wanted to see his girlfriend, Janice. He went to her house hoping she would welcome him. But instead, Janice rejected him because she now knew about his past as a robber. Even though Miles said he had changed and was now working as a bank employee, Janice didn't believe him and didn't want to see him anymore. Miles' bad luck didn't stop there. The building where he had hidden the stolen diamond was no longer under construction. It had been turned into a police station. Even though it seemed impossible, Miles didn't give up. He came up with a plan. He disguised himself as a pizza delivery man to enter the police station without being recognized as a former convict. When he arrived, the police didn't let him go wherever he wanted, and no one had ordered pizza. But Miles quickly thought of a plan. He noticed an officer named Carlson going into another room. Miles left the pizzas behind, pretending to be in a hurry, but it was all part of his strategy. He used the opportunity to steal Carlson's ID card. The next day, Miles went to a friend named Uncle Lou. Miles asked Uncle Lou to make a fake police ID for him that looked exactly like Carlson's. He also asked for fake files to show that he was a detective who had recently been transferred to the police station. Miles needed this disguise because the diamond he had hidden 2 years ago was in the ventilation duct in the detective's office. To prepare, Miles also practiced acting like a real police officer by watching documentaries. Uncle Lou, who was very skilled at making fake documents, quickly created everything Miles needed. But he warned Miles not to let the police check the documents too closely because they would easily find out they were fake. Miles, however, didn't seem worried. He confidently said he only needed the documents for an hour, just enough time to get the diamond back. In front of the police station, Miles, now using his fake identity as Detective Maloon, felt confident. He walked into the station without hesitation, carrying his fake papers and ID. He headed straight for the ventilation shaft, which he believed led to the diamond he hid 2 years ago. But there was a problem. The only way to access the vent was through the women's restroom. At the same time, Carlson was interrogating a criminal. The criminal asked him to loosen the handcuffs, and Carlson, being too trusting, agreed. The criminal used the chance to escape and, by coincidence, ran into the women's restroom where Miles was already opening the vent. Miles was forced to stop his plan because of the criminal. Trying to act quickly, Miles kicked the restroom door to stop the criminal, accidentally making the criminal fall. This caused other police officers to notice him. To avoid suspicion, Miles introduced himself as Maloon, the new detective at the station. The police chief, Rizzo, also noticed the open vent and questioned Miles. Thinking fast, Miles lied and said the criminal was trying to escape through the vent. Surprisingly, Rizzo believed him. However, instead of being given a desk job as Miles had hoped, Rizzo assigned him to work with Carlson in the theft division. This meant Miles would have to go out into the field and solve cases. He couldn't refuse, so he agreed. For their first case, Malone and Carlson went to an auto repair shop after a report of stolen car wheels. The shop owner said 3 dozen expensive wheels, worth $5,000 each, were stolen. However, cheaper wheels in the shop were not touched. The shop's alarm also didn't go off during the theft, which made it harder for Carlson to figure out what happened. But Miles had a different way of thinking. As someone who used to be a thief, he imagined how he would have committed the crime. He realized that moving 3 dozen heavy wheels would take a long time and likely required a truck. Miles became suspicious of the shop owner and his truck. After checking the truck, they found the stolen wheels hidden inside. Miles had been right. The shop owner was the thief all along. Malone and Carlson successfully solved their first case together. On their way back, Malone got annoyed by how Carlson was driving and took over the wheel. Malone was thrilled to drive the police car, especially since his disguise as a detective made him feel like he could do anything. While driving, Carlson noticed a car that had hit a fire hydrant and wanted to check it out. But Malone, uninterested, decided to stop at a mini-market to get some headache medicine. Unfortunately, while he was inside, an armed robbery took place. The robber demanded money from the cashier, who tried to defend himself with a gun. A shootout broke out. Carlson, hearing the gunshots, quickly called for backup. Meanwhile, Malone, oddly calm, enjoyed a snack as if nothing serious was happening. To his surprise, the robber turned out to be his old friend, Tully. Not wanting his cover to be blown, Malone told Tully to escape. They tried to flee through the back door, but police cars had already surrounded the area. Realizing he couldn't escape, Malone decided to negotiate. He convinced Tully to turn himself in and promised him money if he kept Malone's true identity a secret. To make it look believable, Malone staged a fake fight, pretending to arrest Tully by knocking him down. This act made Malone look like a hero and became the talk of the town. However, Chief Rizzo started to question Malone's identity and paperwork. Despite some doubts about his background, the police needed more staff in the theft division. Thanks to his heroic actions, Malone was promoted to chief detective in the theft division. Now Malone decided it was time to search for the diamond again. He went into the ventilation ducts, but all he found was a piece of tape stuck to the wall. Frustrated, he needed another plan. At the same time, Deacon visited Uncle Lou, looking for Miles. Uncle Lou claimed he hadn't seen Miles in a long time, but Deacon found the fake police ID card that Miles had ordered. Meanwhile, Malone, still determined to find the diamond, used a remote-controlled car to explore the ventilation ducts further. While following the toy car, Malone accidentally entered a meeting room full of officers. Rizzo was hosting the meeting, so Malone had no choice but to introduce himself. Surprisingly, Malone impressed everyone by confidently answering their questions in his own unique way. The officers were so impressed that they applauded him. Back in his office, Malone continued his search for the diamond, but he was interrupted by Carlson, who came in suddenly. Malone panicked because Carlson was there to check his personal files, which weren't in the police database. Even the badge number didn't match. Using his quick thinking, Malone lied again. He told Carlson that he was a secret super cop on a mission to uncover corruption in the police department. He even threatened to transfer Carlson to traffic duty if he didn't stop asking questions. Carlson, scared, believed him. At the same time, Rizzo arrived and gave Malone a new assignment. Investigate a theft involving ancient artifacts at the airport. Malone had no choice but to go. At the airport, Malone got into an argument with an FBI agent named Gray. While investigating, Malone noticed that the ancient artifacts were damaged. He quickly realized the case wasn't about stolen artifacts, but about smuggling illegal goods disguised as ancient artifacts. Using his experience as a former robber, Malone figured out the smuggler's plan and suspected a truck was carrying the illegal goods. With the help of a helicopter, the police found the truck, which was indeed full of illegal items. But the driver tried to escape, leading to another wild chase involving Malone. Later, in the evidence storage room, Malone resumed his search for the diamond. He was thrilled when he finally found it, but his luck quickly ran out. Rizzo entered the room unexpectedly, startling Malone. The diamond slipped from his hand and fell into a pile of illegal goods. Things got worse when Rizzo announced that all the evidence, including the illegal goods, would be sent to the FBI headquarters for investigation. It turned out the goods belonged to a notorious crime boss named Jean Lafleur, who had been a target of the FBI for 5 years. The items were now part of a major investigation. Maloon didn't want to lose the diamond again, so he suggested to Rizzo that all the illegal goods should stay at the police station to lure the criminals back. However, things didn't go as planned. Gray from the FBI assigned Maloon to disguise himself as a truck driver, transporting drugs as part of an ambush. At first, Maloon didn't want to take the job, but he had no choice if he wanted to protect his diamond. Preparations were made. Gray trained Maloon on how to act and behave like a real criminal. But this wasn't difficult for Maloon since he had been a robber before. The operation began with the truck being closely watched by both the police and FBI. Meanwhile, Deacon had discovered the plan and was secretly following Maloon. When Maloon reached the meeting location, instead of staying in the truck as instructed, he sneaked into the cargo area to search for the diamond. Just as he found it, Tully appeared, also looking for the diamond. Their reunion was short-lived because Deacon arrived too, pointing a gun at Maloon and demanding the diamond. Suddenly, the entire truck was lifted by a crane and moved to another location, the headquarters of the crime boss Jean Lafleur. Maloon, Tully, and Deacon were now face-to-face with Lafleur and his gang. Deacon, always treacherous, told Lafleur that Maloon was actually an undercover police officer. To test this claim, Lafleur handed Maloon a gun and told him to shoot Deacon to prove he wasn't a cop. Annoyed and fed up with Deacon, Maloon didn't hesitate to shoot him, but only in the arm. Lafleur, however, wasn't satisfied. He wanted Deacon dead. Maloon was forced to aim again, but just as he was about to shoot, the police arrived and raided the location. The chaos scattered the criminals, including Deacon, who managed to escape with the diamond in a stolen police car. This led to a high-speed car chase. During the chase, the police and FBI faced a problem. Deacon's car had crossed the Mexican border. This meant they couldn't arrest him because they had no authority in Mexico. But Maloon, whose real name was Miles Logan, didn't care about rules. Obsessed with getting his diamond back, he crossed the border without hesitation. Using a smoke bomb, Miles managed to overturn Deacon's car. A tense standoff followed, with both men pointing guns at each other, fighting over the diamond. Interestingly, the police, watching from a distance, thought Miles was negotiating like a professional detective. After a quick struggle, Miles handcuffed Deacon, but Deacon fought back, firing a shot at him. Luckily, Miles, now skilled with weapons, fired back and killed Deacon. The dramatic and controversial events caught the attention of an FBI regional leader named Peterson, who criticized Miles for his reckless actions. Rizzo also became more suspicious of Maloon's true identity because his records couldn't be found in the American police database. To cover his tracks, Miles came up with another lie. He claimed he was a member of the Mexican Federal Police, sent to spy on Jean Lafleur's crimes. Before leaving the scene, he even said goodbye in Latin to make it seem official. However, as Miles tried to leave, Carlson and Detective Hardcastle caught up with him at the border. To Miles's surprise, Carlson, who always seemed innocent and gullible, had figured out the truth. Carlson revealed that Maloon was really Miles Logan, a thief who had been pretending to be a detective just to retrieve the diamond he had stolen years ago. Hearing this, Miles panicked. He hadn't expected Carlson to uncover his disguise. Hardcastle wanted to arrest Miles immediately, but Miles got lucky again. He was standing on Mexican soil, just past the border, meaning the American police couldn't touch him. Protected by the laws of the two countries, Miles smiled, held up his diamond, and walked away, free at last.
If you want interesting movie recaps, like, share, and subscribe to follow us for more movie recaps.